Oh, buddy. Texas Tech about to steal the number one player in the portal away from the Texas Longhorns. Boy, Tech is about to break everybody's brains in the transfer portal right now. Welcome in to the Open for Business Big 12 podcast. This is where the Big 12 just means more. Please do like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want Big 12 coverage throughout the week. Red Raiders pulling out all the stops to stick it to just about everybody in the transfer portal right now. Tech has the number 2 portal class in the country behind only Indiana. It has definitely been the Hoosiers and the Red Raiders that are controlling most of the narrative and just drawing the most commitments that are really high-level commits in the portal so far. Makes sense, right? Both teams in the college football playoff. Indiana, number 1 team in the country. But Texas Tech is just building off of what it did last year. And a part of this, I may wait until a live show to talk about it, but Tech is just breaking people's brains with this right now. You continue to see it's like Tech gets blamed for the current state of the sport and the lack of rules and guardrails and boundaries when plenty of other schools are spending at the same type of level. It really is infuriating that it's like Texas Tech gets held up as the example, especially from folks in the SEC, because it's just the SEC feeling quite threatened right now. Obviously, they're struggling on the field, and then they're getting whipped in the portal by Indiana and Texas Tech. Makes sense that the SEC would be a bit up in arms. Well, Texas Tech has Brendan Sorsby committed. He is the number 7 player in the portal, according to On3. Tech is also projected to have 2 of the top 10, 3 of the top 25 in the portal. In fact, one of those, when I wrote this a couple of hours ago, was not a commit. Wake Forest defensive tackle, number 1 D tackle in the portal. He's popped. He's committed now to Tech. So potentially 3 top 25 players here pretty soon, but maybe a 4th. And that is Cam Coleman. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think Texas Tech was getting Cam Coleman. He is Sam Levitt, according to On3, is the number 1 player in the portal. For my money, I think Cam Coleman is the biggest prize. Like, quarterbacks command so much more attention because of the positional value. But Cam Coleman, stud receiver at Auburn, who the second that he hopped into the portal, you knew that was a big one. Everybody was like, okay, this is that's the name. That's the guy. Everybody is going to want him. And of course, Texas was one of the first names that really surfaced for that. It almost immediately, Parker Livingstone decides to transfer from Texas. Very productive receiver for the Longhorns last season. Not only did he leave, he has now since committed to Oklahoma. And the word on the street was when Parker Livingstone left, he was worried about playing time. Texas is about to go get Cam Coleman. I think they're more or less just recruiting over me for number 1 receiver to go get Coleman. I want to make sure I'm the guy. I'm going to go find a new home. And he goes to play for the arch rival, the Red River rival in Oklahoma. And now, is Texas even going to land this guy? Here's the latest On3 report, okay? This is what has really spurred this. We have more details now on where Texas Tech stands. By the way, I guess I should preface the report with this. The reason that I thought Texas Tech probably wouldn't get him wasn't just because of all the competition. It was because when his initial visit list came out, I saw Texas Tech was 4th in line to get a visit. And I just thought, man, if you got Texas and Texas A&M, a couple schools in front of you in the visit line, the way the portal works, you typically don't get a guy wading through and going through 4 or 5 visits in the portal because the money just will get increasingly larger. Teams get real desperate, feel like they need to lock you down. Nobody makes it to that last visit. So I just thought, well, Tech obviously is competitive. That's great. They should take their shot, but probably not going to happen. Well, now, according to On3, it sure looks like Cam Coleman's going to be on campus, and Texas Tech is pulling out all the stops here. So this is Pete Nako says that, look, Texas Tech, USC, Alabama in the mix, in addition to Texas and Texas A&M. USC is out. They landed Terrell Anderson from NC State. Coleman was supposed to visit today, Lubbock today. Now that's been pushed to tomorrow. And apparently the thought is that it's because they're trying to get Brendan Sorsby back, on campus or in town so he can be there for the visit to say, hey, man, you want to come here, you will play with, in some people's eyes, the number 1 quarterback in the portal. I think Texas Tech fans would tell you that. I think you could have a good, healthy debate between Sam Levitt and honestly, maybe a bunch of Big 12 guys, right? Sam Levitt, Brendan Sorsby, and then Drew Mestamaker, who's now at Oklahoma State. all said, that's very encouraging. If he actually makes it to campus to see, this is like, and again, people will say there was a lot of stuff going around like about how Brendan Sorsby said he loved the facilities and the culture at Tech, and people are like, no, just say it's the money, dude, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, obviously the money's a part of it, but money pretty comparable across the board. You got to have something else to sell. Tech has insane facilities, and they do have a very good culture, as evidenced by how well that team played this past year. That is a selling point. So I think if you're somebody else that's in the running here, you got to be worried about him getting on campus in Lubbock. Long gone are the days of thinking, oh, it's just this boring outpost. They're not going to care about a bunch of oil pumps out there. No, man. Texas Tech's got elite facilities. They've got a great thing going, and they have all this momentum, and they're drawing all these headlines. Like that is appealing. As much as people want to talk and complain about this, it's going to make it more likely that the Cam Colemans of the world wind up there anyway, because they're just going to hear more and more about Texas Tech from everybody. They have become something that everyone is talking about. So, boy, I tell you what, Brendan Sorsby's got to be looking at this like, man, this is incredible. Another thing Nakos had said at one point, he got to call, Sorsby did, Patrick Mahomes to tell him that he's committed. That's a cool thing. And then you might get the number one receiver, number one like offensive weapon in the portal to come play with you when it's already been a couple of receivers landed. I mean, Tech's already mining for productive, talented receivers. Jalen Jones from Alabama State, Dante Lee from Liberty. Just talking about players in general. I mean, stock continues to go up for Oklahoma State. They're projected to get Wendell Gregory from Oklahoma State at defensive end. I don't think that one has gone totally official yet, but that's the way it certainly seems to be trending. So now, if you throw Cam Coleman on top of this, we may be sitting here once again talking about Texas Tech with the number one portal class in the country for a second straight year. In between that, by the way, they have a 5-star prep quarterback signed up. They've still been killing it at the high school level. Texas Tech's all in, man. I mean, they are completely all in. And as much as I say that the way that they have gone about this has just sort of broken the brains, melted the minds of your average college football fan, if Tech gets Cam Coleman, that's going to totally explode. Like, I think you'll see all of that be amplified even more so if they wind up getting him, because that will be one where, like, SEC country, he was a high-profile player in the SEC at Auburn and seemed like a ripe transfer candidate based on the fact that they had a coaching change and a bad season. And so if he's then in and it's like, wow, we're Texas A&M, like we're all getting outdone here by Texas Tech, that is going to leave a mark in the SEC. Alabama, right? Alabama's just like an also-ran in this mix. Like they're just a throw-in here. Texas A&M, Alabama, they can't draw any attention here, but Texas Tech's going to get the kid. Texas let its best receiver walk to go to Oklahoma. At least one of its most productive receivers. Maybe Texas fans would fight me on that, but stay tuned. Get your popcorn ready, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to the Open for Business Big 12 newsletter at ofbnews.com to stay up to date on everything going on. It's totally free. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Appreciate all of you guys. It is the Open for Business podcast, where the Big 12 just means more. Take care, and I will talk to you soon.